concern is, can he get that same type of emotion again this week as Joe said game? A very emotional game. And he said, when we play Dallas this week, we need the same type of thing. I said about football, the thing we have to do for Jay Schrader to be able to pass, we have to be able to run. And he said he thinks they have to be able to run 125 yards. Now, I think we have to remember one thing, that their record, the Redskins' record, after Monday night with Joe Gibbs is 14-0.
We get into a situation, I think it's fair to say, that's a must-win situation for Dallas. In talking with Tom Landry, how do you think and how do we feel he has to accomplish that?
Well, you know, his biggest concern is pass protection. As he said, we have to be able to pass protect for Steve Pellor. Now, what happened is 2 weeks ago, Steve Pellor threw 5 interceptions. Now, the next week, he goes against the San Diego Chargers. He doesn't want to force the ball. He doesn't want to make the mistake. So he holds the ball a little too long. He's sacked 11 times. Now, on Sunday, they said it was 12. The league reviewed it and said officially it was 11 sacks. So anyway, that's a lot of sacks. So they come into this game. They don't want to throw that interception. They don't want the sack. Because as Tom Landry said, if we can pass protect against these guys, he said we can beat them throwing the football.
They're going to have the first crack. Steve Cox has teed it up and ready to kick off to Darryl Clack, who's back by himself, standing at the Cowboys goal line. Nothing, obviously. As we're about to get underway, and again, as we were discussing before, they'll be watching that scoreboard and see what happens up at Giant Stadium. Cox, knuckleball, bounces to Clack, and he short hops it. Fumble right off the bat, outside the 25, and the Redskins have it right off the bat. Came up with the recovery. Terry Orr is the man who made the hit that caused it.
Hey, you know, you can talk about having to be able to run, having to be able to do this, having to be able to do that. But the biggest thing is to have a start like this, where you can kick off, cause a fumble, and get the ball on the 30-yard line to start the game.
In the series, the team with the fewer turnovers has won every game since 1982. Jay Schrader, the Redskin quarterback. He had a bad back. Didn't throw until Friday, but he's starting today. George Rogers is behind him. Redskin ball their own 30. It is Rogers. Left side for about 4. On defense for Dallas. Up front, Jones, Dutton, Randy White, and Jim Jeffcoat. Linebackers Hegman, Lockhart in the middle, and Jeff Rohr. And the secondary, Walls and Fellows, the corners. Bates and Downs, the safeties. 2nd and 6. Redskin ball just outside the Dallas 26. Art Monk is flanked to the right. Gary Clark to the left. Fellows has him. Schrader back to throw. Has time. Has Clark. Fellows chasing. Out of bounds with an assist from Bates. A gain of 12 and a Redskin first down.
I'll tell you, this is the most amazing guy on this Redskin team, this Gary Clark. Didn't practice all week. Has a bad leg. Has had a hamstring pull. And has to gut it out every week, but yet he's a leading receiver. All this guy does is get open.
Amazing. Great quickness. First down, Redskins at the Dallas 14. Clint Didier in the backfield with Rogers in front of him. And it's Rogers. Rogers pounds into the end zone. Redskins lead. Number 86, he might have been stung a little on that play.
Well, he was in the backfield, Pat, and he was the lead blocker. He was the lead blocker for George Rogers on that play. Now, that's one thing the Redskins are doing different, is using their tight end in the backfield a lot.
Zendejas to try the extra point. He's missed 4. 7-0 Redskins lead as Zendejas is good.
lead back there. He's leading for George Rogers. He gets that kick out there. Rogers cuts inside of it. Then he has a straight running lane right into the end zone.
And the Redskins break on top in a hurry.
You know, I think this is a big thing where you get the lead blocker out in front here now. And you get the lead blocker out in front, the tight end. You see him making that lead block? The Redskins always used to be just a one-back running team and using two tight ends. Now they're putting one in there and letting him be the lead blocker.
Steve Cox getting ready to kick off. Clack fumbled the opening kickoff for the Cowboys, and now it's Robert Levette back in place of Clack.
I'll tell you, when you get a game at home and a big division rivalry game like this, I think if there's any one important thing, it's getting on top. Because then you have your crowd with you all day.
And this is some crowd. Levette from about a yard deep in the end zone brings it out. Levette hit just outside the 20. The defense, Steve Pallur will be the Dallas quarterback, and he's looking at this group. Mann, Butts, Grant, and Dexter Manley. The linebackers, Calvin Daniels, Neil Olkowitz, and Rich Millott. And in the secondary, Dean and Wilburn, the cornerbacks. Walton and Curtis Jordan, the safety men. Morrison is starting in the defensive backfield. That's Renfro on the move, and Pallur gives quickly to Dorsett, and not much doing there as Darrell Grant is there at the same time. The Dallas offense, Pallur the quarterback. Dorsett and Newsom, the running backs. Tony Hill and Mike Renfro start at wide receiver, although they will make a lot of changes. 2-A, Titensur, Rafferty, Crawford Kerr, Jim Cooper, and Doug Cosby up front. Chuck Long did play for the Lions, and we'll see those Detroit Lions and Chuck Long on Thanksgiving Day. Herschel Walker in motion. This is Dorsett with the ball. And again, not much doing. Alvin Walton there, and the Broncos have tied the Giants at 16 at the Meadowlands.
I tell you, if they put that score up here bad at RFK Stadium, this crowd would go crazy.
The Redskins last Monday night against San Francisco, did some things and changing their defense that we've never seen before. 5-man lines, 3-man lines. That man, Hamilton, 3rd and 9, and Pallur's got to put it up. Sherrard is split wide to the left. Manley and Mann arrive at the same time.
Well, that was the Cowboys' biggest concern. Tom Landry's biggest concern is the pass protection. He didn't want to start out this way. Watch Dexter Manley, the right-hand side of your screen. He just runs right around Mark 2-A and gets Steve Pallur from the backside. I'll tell you, right now, I think Dexter Manley is probably the best pass rusher in the NFL.
He does cause some concern and some havoc. Saxon back, standing in the end zone for the Cowboys, and Ken Jenkins back deep with Clarence Burton. Saxon gets off a good kick. 43. Jenkins into Cowboy territory at the 45. Stopped by Bill Bates. 45-yard punt by Saxon. It is 7-0 Redskins here. As we look at some of the other scores, New England has rallied to go ahead of Buffalo. Pittsburgh and Cleveland tied in the 4th, 28 apiece. Houston over Indianapolis, 31-10. As we mentioned just a minute ago, the Giants tied, and Green Bay has just gone ahead of Chicago 10-9. We'll see them on Thanksgiving Day against Detroit. Donnie Warren this time in the backfield with Rogers. Schrader right to work. To Clark. Fellows on the tackle. He almost spun away from him.
I'll tell you, I think he does have a lot of pain, Pat, because Joe Gibbs was saying he didn't practice all week, and then on Friday, Joe Gibbs was talking to Emmett Thomas, and he said, I don't think we ought to play Clark. Clark was watching. After he said to Emmett Thomas, he said, what was he talking about? He says he's talking about not playing you. So he went in and got dressed up and practiced all day.
He went back to the huddle, but when he came out of the huddle, he seemed fine. To Rogers at the line of scrimmage, maybe one. For an NFL update, let's go back to New York now and Brent Musburger. The Redskins over the Cowboys. Kelvin Bryant is in the backfield in place of Rogers. 2nd and 11. Schrader from Monk through his hands. Covered by Everson Walls. The pressure was put on by Jeffcoat.
I'll tell you one thing, Jay Schrader is getting confidence right now. When you can start off and you have pretty good pass protection as he's had, plus every time you go back to throw, you got a guy open, that makes you feel pretty good early.
Indeed it does. 3rd down and 11. 9:48 left first quarter. Redskins up 7-0. They're at the Cowboy 33. Motion. Schrader back. Again, the protection is pretty good. That's Art Monk. Oh! That is not a pass that Art Monk will drop many times.
I'll tell you, Art Monk has dropped 2 in a row, and that's probably about a season's quota for him. He had that post. He ran the post down all the way into the end zone, got open, got behind his man. Schrader knows. Oh, that should have been 14 points for us.
He had him and he hit him. Steve Cox is the holder. Beg your pardon, Schrader is the holder. Cox will try the field goal from 50 yards out. He is the long distance man. Just past the 40. So a little bit more than 50. That's going to be far enough, maybe. Off to the right. So the Cowboys will take over back at that original line of scrimmage. Washington leading 7-0 on the touchdown by George Rogers. We have 9.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Washington 7, Dallas nothing. Those of you who just joined us, watch Cincinnati beat Minnesota 24-20. It is 7-0 here at RFK Stadium. The Redskins recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff and took it right in. Pallure. Sherrod. Should be enough for a first down. Barry Wilburn on the coverage. A gain of 12.
This is a guy you're going to see a lot more of as you watch the Dallas Cowboys. That's Mike Sherrod, their #1 draft choice. And the thing that he gives them is great speed. This guy's a game breaker. He starts the first pattern he catches is just a hook. But I'll guarantee you somewhere along the line, about 3 or 4 times today, we're going to see Sherrod go deep.
They'll take some shots at more than a hook.
That's right. That's the way sometimes you start with the hook, and then you give him that hook and go.
Right.
Or you give him the hook, and then you run a post or something.
Pallure fakes and goes for the bundle. He's throwing again for Sherrod. Incomplete. Curtis Jordan and Barry Wilburn both back with number 86.
But we knew that they were going to eventually go for Sherrod, not necessarily on the next play. But you see the Redskins are in good position for it. Curtis Jordan there, the weak safety, running on the inside. The corner from the outside, they had him double teamed. But with speed, sometimes, and the type of speed that a Sherrod has, sometimes you can run by a double team.
Curtis Jordan, the man who was back there with him. 2nd and 10, Dallas at their own 45. 2 tight ends set up now for the Cowboys. And that's Herschel Walker in motion. And the handoff is to Dorsett. He's hit by Manley. A gain of nothing and maybe a loss as Manley was into that backfield as quick as most of the players on the blue side.
Dexter Manley says he hates Dallas and he hates the Cowboys. Said he has a tough time keeping his mouth shut. But this week he did a pretty good job of it. Sam, it looks like he hurt his left shoulder on that play.
Stung him a little bit. 3rd down and 10. Cowboys from their own 44. Valure out of the spread. Out of the pocket. Chased by Butts. Downed by Butts. Marcus Cook also there.
Hey, well, when a Dexter Manley goes out, then a Dave Butts has to take over. Now, here's a collision there. Butts and Crawford Kerr. 2 big 300-pound guys. See Butts just throw him up, then run right down the line. He knows you don't run after a quarterback. You run at the cutoff point. And eventually, you're going to meet up with him out there. That's what happens, you know, when you played for 14 years, then you know things like that.
It's Manley's left arm that seems to be his problem. He's walking behind the Redskins bench. Here's Saxon's kick, and it's another good one. Jenkins at his own 12. A punch almost broke it. Tripped by Pates. 48-yard punt. Return of 9 by Jenkins. They still are checking Manley. It's his left arm, left shoulder. Washington 7, Dallas nothing. First quarter, 7:26 left. Don't forget Thanksgiving Day. It begins at noon Eastern time with the NFL today, and then after that, that long-time rivalry between the Packers and the Lions, and John Madden and I will be in Detroit. Green Bay winning, Detroit has won. Pillows follows Monk. George Rogers gets 2 yards. Randy White stopped it. Second and 8 as the Cowboys, as they so often do, make the mass substitution. Dutton goes out. Lockhart goes out. Rohr goes out.
The Cowboys use that 4-0 defense, and Joe Gibbs says that's one of the things we want to keep them out of today.
Monk is the move man. Second down. That's Kelvin Bryant with the ball. He gets to the 30. A gain of 5. It'll bring up a 3rd down situation in about 3. 6.5 minutes left to play first quarter.
Yeah, that's a good combination that the Redskins have now with George Rogers basically being the first down guy, the running guy, then be able to bring in a Kelvin Bryant who can be a good pass receiver or a runner. Joe Gibbs says last week they only got the ball in his hands 10 times. This week he said he'd like to get it in his hands between 15 and 20 times.
Don Warren now is the only deep back, and that's Bryant going in motion. Warren is behind Schrader. Here comes the blitz. Bryant had it, juggled it, lost it.
You know what happened on that, Pat? I think Bryant was running right towards the first down marker. And I'll bet you that he started to look at that red marker and took his eye off the ball. Watch him. He's going to be out here to the right. Now, they needed about 3 yards for the first down. Now, look, he's right out there. Yeah, you see, he turned his head up to look to see that marker there to see how far he had to go. When he took his eye off the ball, boom, it popped right out.
Steve Cox to punt for the Redskins, and it's a good one. Gordon Banks retreats to his own 17. Got some room. And the Redskins converge very quickly. Sean Burks down there to make the stop. 7-0. The Redskins lead the Cowboys at RFK. 5:47 left first quarter. CBS Sports presents a Thanksgiving weekend of college football starting next Friday at 2:30. The matchup between the Terrapins of Maryland and the Cavaliers of Virginia. And then on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, Notre Dame against their longtime rival USC, the Trojans. It's a holiday weekend of college football here on CBS. First down, Dallas. Dorsett and Newsom behind Pallure. 5:47 left to play first quarter. And the Redskins up by a touchdown. Pallure going for the bundle. Intended Tony Hill. Wilburn on the coverage.
You know what happened on Monday night? Joe Montana threw for over 400 yards against the Redskins, and he had some guys open, and he overthrew them. Had some guys open deep. So the Cowboys look at that film and they say, we can get deep on these guys. As Tom Landers said, if we can pass protect them, we can beat them throwing.
And you saw that score just a minute ago with 6 seconds remaining up at the Meadowlands. Raul Alegre has kicked a 34-yard field goal. The Giants lead it 19-16.
Redskins had to take time out, Pat. They only had 10 guys on the field. For whatever reason, they didn't have a corner out there, and Tim Morrison just come running on. Now that upsets a coach. I mean, how can you play a game like that? That's what you get. How can you play a game like that? You're playing the Dallas Cowboys. You're in first place. The Giants are winning up in the Meadowlands, and you only got 9 guys out there on defense. 10 guys.
It's hard to play with 11 guys.
Well, especially when that 11th guy that wasn't there is a cornerback.
With that score I just gave you, here's the way it was when the day started. In the East, the Redskins and the Giants both at 9-2 in the Central. The Bears 9-2, but they're losing to the Packers. In the West, the Rams 7-4. They're playing New Orleans. That is at the beginning of the day. As far as the best of the rest are concerned, Dallas 7-4, San Francisco 6-4-1. Minnesota lost today, so they're 6-6. And as I mentioned, New Orleans playing the Rams. A lot of things can happen today. There'll be a lot of projections as the day passes. To Brent Musburger now for an NFL update.
All right, Pat, moments ago, the New York Giants, with time running down, got this field goal.
Redskins leading the Cowboys. Now, if they don't already, they will know very quickly what happened in the Giants-Broncos game. Second down and 10. That's Dorsett out of the backfield. Walker remains. Herschel up the middle. That's Walker. Got enough for a Dallas first down, stopped by Ken Coffey. Walker has been nursing a bad knee and a bad ankle.
He has a bad ankle on one foot and a bad knee on the other foot. But I'll tell you one thing, these Redskins are concerned with him. Coffey makes a heck of a tackle here because he's a tough guy to get down, even with 2 bad legs.
Renfro is down at the bottom of your picture, split wide to the right. First down, Dallas at their own 39. 4:59 left to play first quarter. Handoff. Dorsett, 2 yards. Alvin Walton up to make the stop.
You know, it's funny when you talk to a Redskin team and they're getting ready to play the Cowboys and they don't mention Tony Dorsett. Their biggest concern were against 2 new guys. I mean, about 2 new guys. One, of course, being Herschel Walker because he had the big game against him in Dallas, and the other, Mike Sherrard, with his speed.
Second and 8.
It used to always be, we have to stop Dorsett.
Now they have another weapon. The other weapon's not in there at the moment. That's Cosby moving. Pallure back to throw, up in the pocket, out of the pocket, retreats, fires. Intended Renfro incomplete, knocked away. Tim Morrison was the nearest Redskin.
You know, I was talking about, man, they watch him right here, number 72. Cosby comes across in motion and blocks him, and then 2-8. I think he's getting blocked more different ways than I've ever seen an end, and he still gets there to pressure the quarterback. Monday night against the 49ers, they were putting Russ Francis in motion and coming in and doubling Manley. That time it was Cosby in motion. Boom, he blocked him. Then the tackle blocked him.
Third down and 8. Valor out of the spread, and here comes the Redskin blitz. Incomplete, intended Renfro, and nothing was there. 3 Redskins surrounding Darrell Green. Was one of the defenders. There was some question about whether he'd be able to play or not.
Well, he was telling us yesterday, I'm not going to start, but I'm going to get in there and play. And here it's a passing situation. Green is in there. We see him, number 28. He was the guy behind Renfro, but there were about 4 guys around Mike Renfro.
Jenkins is number 31, the Redskin returner. Saxon standing back at his own 25. For the sideline, but Jenkins fields it at his own 20. Trying to get around the corner, got out of bounds, and the Redskins will take over. 39-yard punt. Todd Fowler knocked him out of bounds at 7-0. Redskins over the Cowboys. New England beat Buffalo. They're in overtime in Cleveland. Bears got a field goal from Kevin Butler there in the 4th quarter and a 2-point advantage over Green Bay. 49ers leading Atlanta 7-0. There is Dexter, and he does not lack enthusiasm.
He's wondering about where all these guys are blocking. In fact, yesterday he said, you don't think Tom Landry would do something like that, like Bill Walsh did to me, do you?
He said, I'm still sore from that. Here's Schrader back to throw and quickly goes upstairs. Didier, and he's off to the races. Didier chased by Walls. And Didier is going to score for the Redskins. Didier, 71 yards from Schrader.
You know, they say you live with the blitz, you die with the blitz. That got Dallas on that one. Michael Downs, the safety blitz. There was no help out there when Didier caught that ball.
Zendejas for the extra point with Schrader holding. Nothing, but there's a penalty flag down on the play. Referee, by the way, is Dick Jorgensen. He's pointing some fingers.
Well, I think he was doing some counting.
Was thrown for 12 men on the field. Missed count. Only 11. No flag. Point is good.
All right, Dick.
See, he was counting them. He knew. He counted 12. Then he counted again. And he only had 11 pumps of that finger. Okay, let's watch what happens here. We'll see. Here's Downs here. He's coming on the blitz. So there's no one in here. So when Didier gets beyond, there's no double coverage. Everything is single coverage. You see Downs coming up the middle right there. Now they pick him out. So now they're one-on-one all over the field. So now when Didier out here, see Didier make the catch. He spun Everson Walls around, and then he was able to get to the end zone. Yeah, that's Bill Bates that was on him. See, they isolated Bates out there. Threw the pass a little short. The safety blitz. Downs is the second guy. Walls is the second guy there.
Didier so much bigger than either Bates or Walls, and that's what the Redskins hope for, that matchup.
Well, you know, it's what they try and do now with Bill Bates at the strong safety. By taking your tight end and splitting them out, that takes the strong safety out and isolates him outside.
Number 42 is Darrell Clack. Steve Cox about to kick off. 3:43 left first quarter. And the Redskins lead it. Clack goes back into his end zone about 7 yards deep. Fumbles and decides that's enough of that. Tom Landry, who has made so many visits here to this stadium. Tied for second in NFL history with Don Shula in the number of victories, 260. And that's what they want here in the nation's capital, revenge.
Of course, they've lost 3 in a row to the Cowboys.
Dorsett and a loss of a yard. Dave Butts right there. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but there was nothing doing.
I'll tell you, usually when you run right at Dave Butts, there's nothing doing. I don't think there's anyone that plays the run right at him any better than Dave Butts has for years. You just don't get any movement on that big guy.
6'7", listed at 295, and says he feels stronger this year than he ever has. That's frightening. Second down for the Cowboys at their own 20. Valor chases Newsom back in the other direction. Fires to Sherrard. Close to a first down. Maybe not quite.
Now, one of the things that they did for Steve Valor is they eliminated some of the plays on the game plan. The game plan isn't as long, and they're just doing the things that he feels comfortable with and that he can do well. Now watch, Danny White is going to give him the signal. See, that 2 is the thing. That's the number that they're using. And we're talking to Steve Valor last night. He said that's the toughest thing to see. Is not the motions he gives, but the numbers.
And of course, Danny White's got that wrist in a cast. It was broken against the Giants. It is a Cowboy first down. Valor fakes, looks, throws it to Thornton Chandler, and Chandler will have another first down for Dallas. A gain of 14. This is a big guy.
I'll tell you, and it's a guy that you see more and more in this Dallas offense. Thornton Chandler, he's a rookie from Alabama, and I think that they feel that he is going to be one of their top players in the future. And they feel real good, about picking up a Herschel Walker, picking up a Mike Sherrod, picking up a Thornton Chandler. They really picked up some speed and some tools for that offense.
Chandler is 6'6" and 245 at least. First down, Dallas, their own 45. 2 minutes left first quarter. Comes the reverse. That's Sherrard. He is hammered. Barry Wilburn ripped him backwards. After a gain of 7, however.
I think when you talk about tackling, Wilburn made the perfect tackle in the open field. And that's a tough thing to do. I mean, watch him. I mean, he had a good base. He just put his helmet right between the 8 and the 6, right in his middle, and boom, decleated him and put him right on his back. Now, that's a tough thing, that open field tackle.
That requires as much concentration as anything. 2nd and 2. First visit for the Cowboys into Redskin territory, and they were only there a very short while as Dorsett is knocked backwards.
Well, I don't know why they're doing that. It's the second time that they try and run right into Dave Butts. Watch him. Kerr tries to block him. He just goes right inside, and he's just sitting there. Dave Butts is in his 14th year, and he said this year he feels stronger than he ever has in his career. The way he's playing, he plays like he's stronger.
Look at his helmet.
That's been through 14 years of war. Stuff.
It's been well used. Herschel Walker now back into the Dallas offensive plan. Walker swings wide to the left. They get the ball out in his direction. And the Redskins are there in a hurry. Manley. Monty Coleman. Both right on the scene. And the Cowboys again will have to punt.
The Redskin defense said last time when we played was the first time we saw Herschel Walker, and he surprised him. Say he'll never surprise us again.
Ken Jenkins back. Mike Saxon will punt it. 32 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Redskins up 14-0. High kick by Saxon. Jenkins signals fair catch and makes it. About his own 13. The Redskins have gotten the big play. A touchdown by Rodgers and a 71-yard shot from Schrader to Clint Didier. Hail to the Redskins and to the Hogs. Redskins take over at their own 14-yard line. They had hoped for the big play, and they have gotten it so far. They recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff, and then they hit the big shot from Schrader to Didier. The Bears pulled it out over Green Bay. The field goal by Kevin Butler. They won 12-10. They upped their record to 10-2. Rodgers straight ahead. Eugene Lockhart made the tackle. No more plays in the first quarter. And at the end of one, the Redskins trying to remain tied with the Giants at 10-2 are well on track to do that, leading Dallas 14-0 at the end of one.
Last night he said that this is a must game if we have any chance to win our division. He said, now, if we don't win it, then the only chance we have is a wild card. And I tell you, this is a big, big game for Tom Landry and the Cowboys.
Oh, boy. Their record 7-4. If the Redskins win, they would be 10-2. The Giants are already at that figure. That would be a lot of ground to make up.
Well, then, of course, then if that happens, then the Cowboys stop looking at their division and they start looking at the other divisions to see if they can get that second wild card spot.
The AFC situation in the East, the Jets are 10-1, of course. Cincinnati 8-4, Cleveland at that figure. Denver, after losing to the Giants today, 9-3. New England 9-3. The Raiders 8-4, and Kansas City 7-4. Of course, a lot of those teams still have to play and complete today, but that's the picture right now.
I'll tell you one thing about people you can't count out. How about those Raiders? You know, with that defense they have, even though Howie Long's missing, but Jim Plunkett and what he's doing as a quarterback.
Jim Plunkett is revived every year.
I tell you, he's an amazing guy. He's one of those guys that has never learned how to stay down if you ever get there.
They say he shoots arrows into the air, but somebody always comes down with him, and they're usually his teammates. First down, Redskins. Second down and 5 from the 18. First play, second quarter. Redskins up 14-0. Schrader whips it inside Clark. Fellows up in a hurry, but nevertheless, a completed pass to Clark.
You know, one of the things about Gary Clark, you see him, and he's not a very big guy. He's only 5'9", 170 pounds, and catches a lot of passes, has real good quickness. But Joe Gibbs says, of all the guys in the team, this guy could very well be the toughest guy we have. And you don't think of that of a little guy.
No, you really don't.
A little pass receiver running around, catching a lot of balls.
Third down and 1. Rodgers, first down. Lockhart again. Rodgers got 3, and they'll move the chains.
You see the guy helping him up there, Big Joe Jacoby. It seems like for years when John Riggins was running, anytime they need yardage, they're going to run to that left side behind Joe Jacoby and Russ Grimm. 2 of the best offensive linemen in the league.
That seems like a sensible choice.
Now, there's a big guy. I mean, you talk about big guys and lows. That Joe Jacoby's one.
6'7", 305. Maybe bigger.
He looks bigger.
Schrader back to throw with lots of time. Going deep for Clark, and he's got it. Out of bounds, covered by Downs, but he's inside the Dallas 25. A gain of 52.
I think on that one, Gary Clark beat double coverage. Watch him out here, Ron Fellows, number 27. See him get right by that? Then he does that hook and go. He stopped, Fellows stopped with him. Boom, he takes off again and outruns Michael Downs down the sideline. I'll tell you, that was a good pattern. You know, that little hook? He sold the hook before he went on the go.
And Schrader did a good job to read it and get it there.
I'll tell you, this is only Jay Schrader's 17th game as a starter, but he looks like about an 8-year veteran, doesn't he?
Got a great arm and he's a good athlete. Rogers inside the Cowboy 20 to about the 19. Hagman made the stop. Rogers got 3.
You know, there's been so many injuries to quarterbacks, it seems, that this really looks funny. Look, if you look at quarterbacks and their consecutive starts, Phil Simms with 44 leads the NFL. The next guy, and he's only played for about a season, is Jay Schrader with 17 starts, followed by Kramer, who didn't start today, and Eric Hipple.
That, of course, all in the NFC. 2nd and 7 here at RFK. 12:50 left in the first half, and the Redskins up 14-0 and going for more. Didier, who breaks away from Everson Walls first, and then is stopped finally by Bates, a gain of 4.
You know, that's one of the things that the Redskins have with a Clint Didier, is he can do so many things. He can play a tight end, which we've seen today. We can see him in the backfield leading as a blocker for a Rodgers. We can see him out as a wide receiver, as we saw where he got that touchdown man-to-man on Bill Bates. So that gives him a lot of flexibility in being able to move this guy around. Now he's outside again.
With Vince Albritton in front of him. 3rd and 3 at the 16. Bryant goes in motion. Schrader back to throw. Fires low, but complete to Clark, I believe. That ought to be enough for a first down. It's going to be close. It is a first down. Fellows on the stop.
I'll tell you, that was some kind of throw and some kind of catch. That looked like a double play ball. You know, that second throw to the first baseman. Watch Clark. He's the outside guy. See, he comes in, comes underneath. That ball is right down there. He goes right down with it and catches it right in front of the first down marker.
Redskins have it at the 12. 1st and 10. They already lead 14-0. Schrader to Rogers, and Rogers to about the 7. Lockhart. Gain of 5 for George Rogers.
Watch this. This is that old counter trade. Watch 68 and 66. The right guard, right tackle. They're going to pull to the right. Now Rogers gets the ball, then he's going to come right in here behind Jacoby. Boom! And then just cut right off that block. Of course, remember when John Riggins was here, he made a lot of mileage off that play.
Was the play. 2nd and 5. It's working well with Rogers also. Didier now is covered by Albritton, way out, split wide to the right, listening to Schrader. He's going back to throw. Going into the end zone and throwing high, intended for Clark. Incomplete. Clark is saying they interfered with me.
Well, you know what happened? Yeah, he's still complaining. I think Ron Fellows, tried to tackle him because Fellows fell down doing it. And there was a thing down there, and Fellows went down. Clark went over and said, "Did you see that?" That's right here. See 84 outside there. Now watch Fellows there. You see, he's going to start in. No, he just fell down. I don't think he even caught him.
Didn't look like interference, but he did fall down, and Clark was open. 3rd down and 5. Schrader back to throw again. Fires to a wide open Kelvin Bryant. And that was, again, almost touchdown. Manny Henry Hendricks is back there with Bryant.
And that saved at least 4 points for the Cowboys.
Yep.
That's the second pass on third down that Kelvin Bryant has dropped today. And he doesn't do that type of thing. I mean, he is a very good receiver. He's a very good football player, but he's a very good receiver. Now he's dropped 2 in a row, third down play.
Max Sendejas will try from 25 yards out with Schrader holding. And Sendejas is good. And with 10:19 left in the first half at RFK Stadium in Washington, the Redskins are in command 17-0.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect.
RFK Stadium now chanting, "We want Dallas," and right now they've got Dallas.
Well, they've started that Monday night. You know, they were playing the 49ers at the end of the game. They started chanting, "We want Dallas," and they've been chanting that for 7 days now.
Steve Cox back to kick off to Robert Levette. Cowboys alternating Clack and Levette. Neither with much success. Cox pops this one way deep into the end zone, and Levette will stay there with it. 10 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the first half at RFK, and the Redskins leading the Cowboys 17-0. Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden, the Redskins leading the Cowboys 17-0. Dexter Manley had a big first half. Got a big game against San Francisco last Monday night. Dave Butts is number 65.
He's explaining to that umpire there, that number 50, he's the guy that calls holding on the offense. And he's explaining to him what Crawford Kerr's doing to him. He's trying to get that holding penalty.
Whatever he's doing right now is not very effective. Pitch back to Dorsett. And he gets very little, if any. Olkowitz out to make the stop and lead the defense.
I think that's Dorsett's 7th carry, Pat, and he's only gained 3 yards. So that's always been the thing with Dallas. You always start off that if you're going to stop the Cowboys, you have to stop their run. And that's what the Redskins have done here today.
Second down, 11. Dorsett lost one. Those eyes have been looking into defensive backfields a long time. Dave Butts. Pellure's got a throw. He puts Newsom in motion left. For Sherrard. Incomplete. Curtis Jordan. Good coverage.
We know the one thing that the Redskins are doing on these passing downs, they always play a basic man-to-man defense, and then they double someone. That's Curtis Jordan there, who was doubling Sherrard. And he's the biggest deep threat now for the Cowboys. So you can tell who the Redskins are thinking. They have to stop. They have to double Sherrard. Let someone else beat him, but not Sherrard.
Pelure is 4 out of 10 for 50 yards, 3rd and 11. Dallas from their own 19. Pelure out of the spread. Screen pass to Newsom. Newsom outside the 30, about the 31, a gain of 7. Not enough for a first down, and the Cowboys again will have to punt. Coffey made a stop, and this crowd has really gotten involved. Dexter Manley, who was all fired up before the game and still is.
I've never seen anyone like that. He came out before the game and ran up and down the field leading cheers. Then he went over and got some oxygen. Then he got up and started leading cheers again, and he's been fired up all week.
Saxon back to punt. Jenkins deep for the Redskins. Off the side of his foot. Not much there for Saxon. Flag is down. 2 flags are down, in fact. only a 22-yard kick. But let's see what's wrong.
Mike Saxon is hoping it's something against the Redskins so he can kick that one over again.
Ineligible downfield on the punt, number 55. Offense, decline. First down.
That's the center. Goes down too quick. That's unusual. 8:27 left first half, 17-0 Redskins lead. Back at RFK Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden. The Redskins leading the Cowboys 17-0. 8:27 left to play in the first half. Dallas fumbled the opening kickoff. George Rogers scored the first Redskin touchdown. Washington has 200 yards to the Cowboys 50. 71 of them on a touchdown pass from Schrader to Clint Didier. At 17-0. Schrader gives to Rogers. Behind Grimm. Knocked backwards. Stays on his feet with Rogers. A gain of 4. It looked as if he were down. Stopped. And he kept going.
You know, one thing that the Cowboys feel about George Rogers is that he's a great runner, but that he does fumble. And they want, every time he carries a ball, they want to go after it and try and knock it out of there.
Line of scrimmage, the Dallas 45. Second down and 7. 6.5 maybe. Rogers again. Rogers is off to the races. He could be gone. Caught inside the 10. Fumble. And the Redskins got it back. Downs tackled him. Rogers is down.
Well, you know, we were just talking about that fumbling, and that's what Michael Downs was saying. He was saying that he will fumble, and when he carries it, we're going to try and knock it out of there. They did knock it out of there, but the Redskins got it. See, they're going for it here, they go for it there, but they miss the tackle. Now watch Downs right there as he comes in, and then coming and trying. Well, in fact, it was Albritton that knocked it out.
We're not a company.
George Rogers came off, and there he is on the sideline. He seems to be okay. It's his left arm.
He went down his left shoulder. I'll tell you one thing, the Cowboys miss tackles here. Watch him. They get a good block on Randy White. Right there's the miss by Hegman. Watch Bates 40 there. He misses. That's 2 missed tackles. Now Downs is going to come in. He gets an arm in there. Albritton knocks the ball out. Rogers goes down on his left shoulder, and Gary Clark makes the recovery.
And it's first and goal at the 5. That's Rogers over on the sideline, and he seems to be okay. Redskins already lead 17-0. Bryant has replaced Rogers. Didier's in front of him. To the 4. And knocked backwards from there. Ed Jones was the first man. Number 72. He's had an outstanding last 2 weeks.
Well, he had an outstanding last week. You know, against the Chargers last week, he had 3 sacks, a bunch of tackles, and he got the defensive game ball.
He's had 18 tackles solo in the last 2 weeks. Second down. And goal from the 4. Clock running at 7 minutes left first half. Clark moves, turns around, goes back. Touchdown, Redskins. Flag is down in the end zone. It was to Art Monk, but a penalty marker down. It's against Washington.
It's probably going to be against Art Monk. They're going to probably say that he pushed off to get open like that.
Interference, number 86. Offense, still second down.
On Didier.
You say, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. That's the problem with wearing those gloves. They can see anytime your hands get on someone's jersey.
That brings up a second and goal from the 14. That's the first accepted penalty of the game. Second down. Monk goes wide to the left. Clark now splits out there with him. Schrader back to throw. The rush from Jesse Penn. That's the first sack by the Cowboys. And Jesse Penn let up when he got there.
You see, Jesse Penn is the second guy in. You see, they have their blockers over there. That two tight ends kept them both in to block. One blocked outside, Didier. Warren blocked inside, and Jesse Penn just split the two. Yeah, they had their protection overloaded to that side.
Jesse Penn just came loose. Third and goal back from the 23. Cowboys looking blitz again. Schrader chased out of the pocket again as Jesse Penn, and incomplete. Nobody there. Penn and Albritton chasing Schrader.
Those are two big defensive plays there by the Cowboys. Because you see the first one was a sack. The second one, the big pass rush. And now the Redskins are going to have to kick a field goal. Again, it was the same thing. It was the side of the maximum protection. Penn just went right through and flushed Schrader out to the right.
Schrader will hold. And Zendejas will try from 41 yards away. That should be far enough. And it's good enough. And it's a 20-0 shutout. With 6:16 left to play in the first half, the Redskins up 20-0 over Dallas. In the nation's capital, Washington Monument, the capital itself, and RFK Stadium. Darkness has just about settled in, especially on the other sideline. It's 20-0. Redskins over the Cowboys. Flack is back deep. Steve Cox to kick off. Good high, deep kick to Flack at the goal line. He fumbled the opening kickoff. He's out of the pack. To midfield. Stopped by the kicker Cox and Ken Jenkins. 50-yard return.
Watch this little guy, Clarence Verdon here, 89. He's only 5'6", about 160 pounds. Boy, did he take a shot there by Vince Albritton. And he grabs a hold of the leg, climbs up his leg, and then goes and gets off it. His nickname is CNN because he broadcasts 24 hours a day, non-stop talker, they say. But he's smiling about that hit. Those little guys like to hit and get hit.
6 minutes left to play in the first half. That's Walker in motion. Allure gives inside. Dorsett tripped up. Rams leading New Orleans 7-3 in the second. Those Saints have gotten tough. Here's what's happened to Dallas in their first 5 possessions, and the result on the right tells you that they haven't been very successful.
I think it's a combination of two things. One, the Redskin defense, and the other, maybe the Dallas being a little more conservative. You know, because we said Pallure 2 weeks ago, 5 interceptions. Last week, 11 sacks. Then sometimes you get worried about those things too much, and you don't do anything.
2nd and 9, Tony Hill moves out. Russ Grimm is out with a sprained neck, and McKenzie has taken his place in the Redskin offensive setup. Landry looking over. Steve Pallure in the last 3 games.
Still second down.
Dexter Manley leading the cheers, and that's pretty tough right there.
Well, you can see that, and then the problem is, then what do you do? Of course, the penalty was called. The whistle blew, but Manley thought anytime you leave the ball in the ground, you go get it.
Somebody's good.
That's what they teach defensive guys. Anytime you see a ball flopping around the ground by itself, go get it.
2nd and 14. Fuller back to throw. Maybe. Down in the grasp of Monty Coleman, the third sack by the Redskins.
This is as good as I've seen a Washington Redskin defense in years. I mean, they're doing everything. They have good coverage, no place for Fuller to throw. They have good penetration, good rush on them. Everyone is, they're a solid line against the run. They're pressuring the quarterback. They have coverage against wide receivers. They're just putting a total blanket in this first half over this Cowboy offense.
3rd and 29. Washington with 3 sacks, Dallas with 1. Somebody's showing blitz again. Now they black off. Fuller has to come out of the pocket, chased by Mann. Deep. And almost intercepted by Barry Wilburn. Walker, the intended receiver, but there was nothing there. And the Cowboys again will have to punt. Saxon's in the game.
Seems like everyone they throw to, every Cowboy, there's 2 or 3 Redskins around them.
Jenkins again goes back. And that's Mike Saxon. 20-0. Redskins lead with 4:16 left to play in the first half. The Giants have already won today. Redskins trying to stay even. Saxon's kick again off the side of his foot. It bounces out of bounds, down by Todd Fowler. Redskins will have it. A punt of 25 yards. And that won't keep your job very long.
You're going down.
Half. CBS Sports presents a Thanksgiving weekend of college football coming up, starting next Friday at 2:30 Eastern. The Terrapins of Maryland and the Cavaliers of Virginia. And then Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against their longtime rivals, the USC Trojans. It's a holiday weekend of college football action here on CBS Sports. George Rogers down below us, headed for the locker room. Kelvin Bryant in the backfield in his place. First down, Redskins from their own 42. Schrader with all kinds of time has wide open Art Monk. He's down inside the Cowboys 25 before he's brought down by Ron Fellows. A pickup of 29 and the Redskins start to pour it on.
One thing about Jay Schrader that I really like, it was the type of thing I always liked in a quarterback. He doesn't look at his short guy and then try and go deep. He's always looking at the deep guy. He always wants to throw to the guy who can get you the biggest play. A lot of quarterbacks look for that short guy first. Schrader looks for the deep guy first and will always try and get it to him.
Put it up the field.
I think that drives Joe Gibbs crazy sometimes, but it's a good kind of crazy.
Bryant around the right side, and he might score. Bryant, touchdown. Dropped a couple of passes. Shows you what else he can do.
Did you see him go up and pat Clint Didier on the head? I'll tell you, there's a reason for that.
Could it be a block?
It could be a block on Bill Bates. Didier really kicked him out.
Zendejas extra point is good. And it's 27-0. Redskins over the Cowboys with 3 minutes and 1 second left to play in the first half. Nothing wrong with your set. It's 27-0. The Redskins over Dallas. 3 minutes, 1 second left to play first half. Kelvin Bryant just went in from 22 yards out. His longest run as a Redskin, behind a great block by Clint Didier.
I tell you, a guy like Didier can catch 71-yard passes and make touchdowns, but they're always the happiest when they make a block. We know that, Walter Payton always talked about that the touchdowns run, all that, but the things that he remembers most and cherishes most are the blocks he made.
Steve Cox lines his kickoff in the direction of Robert Levette, who retreats into the end zone and downs it there. The Cowboys will start from their own 20.
Let's watch the touchdown again. Here we see Didier is in the circle. Kelvin Bryant is in the runner. See, it's an I formation play with the tight end as the fullback. See, they just hand off. Watch him right there. Boom, he gets the block on Bates. That frees him. Now the Cowboys miss 1, 2 tackles right there, a third one. The Cowboys are not tackling well at all. But watch this block right here, 86 on Bates. Boom! See, and that springs, that opens the hole.
First down, Dallas. Their own 20. Valor. Tony Hill, lateral. Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett might have stepped out of bounds. I think that might have been an illegal forward pass.
I think so, Pat. There's a penalty flag right on the 30-yard line. That was the old hook and lateral play. And there's the old flag. I'll bet you that was lateral forward.
It looked like it might have been when he first let it go.
That is a use for instant replay, too. Now Landry's saying, what happened? Well, if it's not a forward lateral, they can change it.
Dick Jorgensen, the official. Tony Hill is standing still over talking to the official. Let's see.
Well, we can see now there's a lateral right there. It looks forward from here on that play.
They're looking.
It looks way forward. They're going to look at it again. Let's show them this one. This one here. Here's Tony Hill. He pushed off on that. I wonder if they saw that. Okay, now he has the ball. Now let's see if the ball comes out. Oh, I don't know about that. You know what happened? He was hit just as the ball came out. So maybe he released it backwards and it was hit forward.
There is still another official
illegal forward pass.
Illegal forward pass.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
I don't know. His arms did that as he was being tackled from behind. They could review that one again. As it came out, the ball came out forward, but I think as it left his hand, it may not have been a forward lateral. And then that jerked it forward.
At any rate, they bring it back, and it'll be 2nd and 5 Cowboys at their own 26 with 2:25 left to play in the first half. Manley's in the backfield. He's saying somebody moved, and now he's saying maybe it was me.
Well, someone moved. What happened? The motion man moved, which was legal. And I think Dexter just saw it and started following the motion guy.
Against Dallas.
Wait a minute. No, he got it wrong.
He got it backwards.
Yeah, he just got spun around.
He went from hero to goat in a hurry.
Now, here's Manley out here.
Outside.
You see? Now, when the motion man comes this way, Manley just starts running in with him. Watch your motion. There goes the motion, and here comes Manley. No one else moved. Referee throws that flag, then he forgot who he threw it against. Manley's saying, I'm so fired up today, anything that moves, I'm going.
First down now, Cowboys. Walker, Newsom in the backfield. That's Walker in motion. Valor back to throw. In the pocket and under pressure, he just does get it out of there. Intended Tony Hill. And again, it was Manley, along with 2 or 3 more Redskins who were close by. Darrell Grant, one of them. And we'll get now the 2-minute warning. And And the Redskins leading 27-0. Stadium. Dallas has 2 yards in this quarter. Total offense. Coming up at halftime, Brent, Will McDonough, Mark Mosley with scores and highlights from around the league. Herb Cross will have a live field report from here at RFK Stadium, and I'll be talking with Tex Schramm. That's all coming up at the half. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Look at Butts there. He's just standing there looking over, checking the formation like it's all in a day's work. You know, you just punch the clock and you worked about 4 hours.
Here's Pelor on 2nd down. Firing. Renfro was the intended receiver. He just didn't hold on. 27-0 here. The Redskins leading. Cincinnati beat Minnesota 24-20. Detroit, we'll see on Thanksgiving Day, 38-17 over Tampa Bay. New England came back to beat Buffalo. Overtime, Cleveland 37-31 over Pittsburgh. Giants with 6 seconds to go beat Denver. And the Bears beat Green Bay. Those are still in progress. It's 3rd and 10. Out of the pocket is Pelor. No place to go. Short of the first down. It'll be 4th. Rich Malott tripped him up. Pelor got 5, but not nearly enough for the first down. Timeout Redskins. They have 1 left.
Well, you know what they could be thinking is Saxon's had 2 bad punts today, and he may shank another one for him.
His first 2 were good. His last 2 have not been so good. Back to punt. Ken Jenkins back deep for the Redskins. Steve Diassi snaps and kicks. Saxon gets off a better kick. Jenkins at his own 26. And Jenkins down at about his own 33. Vince Albritton down to make the stop. A punt of 39 yards by Saxon. Thanksgiving Day. We'll be in Detroit. And don't forget, it starts with the NFL today at 12 Eastern Time. The Packers against the Lions. And over the years, what a series that's been.
I think there's 2 things you always do on Thanksgiving. You have turkey and you watch football. Always.
What else would you want?
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you can do both at the same time.
Well, you and I can't.
Oh, yeah. No, I can always stick like a drumstick in my back pocket.
That's Kelvin Bryant. And he hammers for a Redskin first down. Stopped finally by Michael Downs. After a gain of 12, the Redskins again have 1 timeout remaining. And just over a minute left in the first half. Look at this.
You know, and that's just half. Last time in their first meeting, Dallas had 243 yards in the first half. Today they only have 51. The Redskins only had 88. Look what they have in the first half.
Over 300.
Almost a complete reversal.
Slater back to throw. Outside, Kelvin Bryant gets out of bounds. Stopped the clock at midfield. Fellows was the closest Cowboy, but nobody was too close.
I tell you, that's something for a quarterback and a coach to be able to lose at George Rogers. Rogers injured his shoulder, and they took him into the locker room, but then bring in a Kelvin Bryant. Look at the things he can do for you. There's no drop-off there.
Well, he showed you with his longest run of the day for the touchdown that he's certainly not just a pass receiver. He can do a lot of things. 2nd and 6, midfield. Schrader. Incomplete. Flag is down. Clark, the intended receiver, covered by Walls. It's going to be pass interference against Walls.
And I know what Everson Walls is saying. Look, I'm a corner. I have a right to go for the ball. From up here, that looked like pretty good coverage.
Number 24, defense, first down.
You know, it's tough out there for those guys. They're on there man-to-man. These guys have quickness. They're making moves. Walls is right there. He's right behind him. Now the ball's in the air. He's going for the ball. He just goes up over his shoulder. I don't know. I mean, you can't take everything away from the defense. I believe that's pretty good coverage.
I would certainly agree with you. First down, Redskins. Schrader going for more. He'll have some time, and he has his man. It's Clark at the 10. A gain of 20. Bill Bates finally knocked him down, with the Redskins having it. The Dallas 10, they take their last timeout. 26 seconds remaining in the first half. And going for more.
Now, one thing you have to like about Schrader, as we talked about earlier, he doesn't look at the short guy. On this play here, he had Kelvin Bryant out here wide open on the left. He looked at him, and then boom, he didn't throw it to him. He comes down to his deep guy, Gary Clark. And that's what I always tried to teach over the years. You know, you can look short, but boom, get the ball up the field. Jay Schrader normally does that.
Well, he's got great confidence and a very strong arm. And he's a great big guy. 6'4", 215.
And he has an unused body. You know, he didn't play much in college. This is only his second year playing as a pro, so he's pretty healthy.
First and 10 at the 11. Didier is on the move. Schrader with a lot of time. Bates covering Bryant. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 21 seconds left to play in the first half.
That's a smart thing to do when you're down there and you run a guy in the end zone. You either have him open and you throw it to him, or you throw the ball away. But you never want to throw an interception down here because you're going to lose your field goal, and you never want to force the ball.
So he made the right choice.
Or you never want to take the sack either. Get rid of it, throw it away, tee it up, do it again, second down.
Second and 10 at the 11. 21 seconds on the clock. Again, Schrader has time, and again he gets it down the middle. This time intended for Didier, Vince Albritton. Close along with Bill Bates.
Well, they know that down here they like to go to the big guy, that they like to go to Didier the closer they get to the goal line, so they're doubling him. But with a gun like Schrader has, even though they're double teaming him, he can sometimes get the ball in there.
I think whatever doubts Joe Gibbs had about his team being able to keep that same level of intensity they had on Monday night should be out of his head by now.
I'll tell you, he sure has it in his own body, though. Do you see him?
Boy, yeah.
I'll tell you, he's one of the best coaches in this league.
Third down. Clark. Touchdown. From 11 yards out. Clark. Pass. Watch him as the ball starts to arrive. He might have gotten away with something here.
Right, it's just that quick up, and it's just like a jump ball in basketball. You know, when the ball's coming off the thing, sometimes there's a little pushing and shoving, but I think what he did is he just stayed in close to Everson Walls and gave Schrader that outside, and then just faded out.
The extra point attempt.
34-0 Washington, and we're still in the first half. The Giants have won. Washington, it would appear, is going to win. The Bears have won. The Rams are still playing. That's that playoff picture, and that's the rest of it. Minnesota's already lost. The Saints are playing the Rams. San Francisco is still in action. Dallas could sort of drop out of the picture with this loss today, if indeed it is a loss.
I think they'll drop out of the championship picture. They'll probably still be in that wild card race, though. But I'll tell you, I like those three top teams. And when you start talking about the Giants, the Redskins, and the Bears, I don't know who's the best of that group. Right now, this first half of football, this is the most dominating football that we've seen by a team this year.
By anybody. Clark has 7 catches for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. And again, we're not quite at the half yet. Scooped up by Newsom. He looked for a moment to lateral to somebody and then decided I might as well go ahead myself. Clock stops with 6 seconds remaining first half. Washington 34. The Cowboys nothing. Schrader is 10 out of 18. 219 yards and the touchdown pass to Didier and the touchdown pass to Clark. Bryant scored 1. Rogers has scored 1. She'll be the last play. The Redskins get him for the 4th time, led by Steve Hamilton, number 64. 2 seconds left in the first half, and Tom Landry has to be thinking, hey, what is going on here? The end of the first half with the score Washington 34, Dallas nothing. 34-0 Redskins over the Cowboys. Total offense in the second quarter, the Redskins had 211 yards. The Cowboys had -1. Septien kicks off. With the return. He is out across the 20 and nailed there by Jesse Penn. Halftime statistics.
Well, you know, one of the things Joe Gibbs said, Pat, is that he feels they have to rush for 125 yards. Well, he got that 115 in the first half. 221 yards of passing. I think the interesting thing, 195 yards of that came on first down. On first down, Schrader was 6 for 7 for 195 yards.
Kelvin Bryant in the backfield behind Schrader. George Rogers on the sidelines in street clothes. He won't be back. And Schrader goes again on first down. And fires up the middle, incomplete. Intended for Didier. Eugene Lockhart and Michael Downs.
You know, one of those first down passes was that 71-yard touchdown to Didier in the first half. But that's one thing that the Redskins wanted to do on offense, is keep the Cowboys out of that 4-0, that blitz, that type of thing. Make them play true defense.
And that's the key to their success, that first down business you were just talking about. It's 2nd and 10. Washington at their own 22. Clark split out wide to the left, and Schrader looking in that direction. And Clark is gone past Fellow and caught it. Michael Downs came over.
I tell you, this Gary Clark is something. That's his 8th catch today. The guy just seems to go by everyone. I mean, he goes by him deep. You see, it's that little hook and go. He hooked. Fellows came up. Boom, Clark gets by him. This guy doesn't have great speed. He has very good quickness, good moves, everything else, but not great speed. And he did it with that play. You see what he did there? He made the hook. Boom, he comes up. Right, you just run right by him.
He does manage to get deep, which is indicative, I think, of the fact that you don't have to be that fast to get deep.
Not if you have those other things.
Terry Orr is the back in front of Kelvin Bryant. Behind by it, Jones fumbled it, picked it up, got it back, and lost about 5. Jeff Rohr Didier over on the sideline. They're looking at his hand. Left hand. He took the glove off, and they're going to take him inside and x-ray it. Loss of 6 by Bryant. That would be a big loss if number 86 were to go out.
You remember Didier hurt that thing early in the game, and now it looks like he's going in for x-rays. George Rogers, of course, he hurt his shoulder. It took him out. That's a coach's decision. Joe Gibbs figured that with the score and the situation the way it is, he would just tell him, don't suit up for the second half.
Second and 16, Bryant wrapped up in the backfield. No gain. Eugene Lockhart was the first man there. That'll bring up a 3rd down situation. With Didier hurt now and in for x-rays. Rogers out. The Redskins have lost some substantial weapons.
Well, then you see number 63 in there is playing left guard now. That's Riley McKenzie. Russ Grimm is out.
Grimm injured his neck, and he in all likelihood will not be back. Ricky Sanders, number 46, split down the bottom of your picture, and he can be dangerous. They have a lot of people with a lot of speed. Schrader to the middle. Michael Downs with a shot at an interception, couldn't come down with it. Intended for Art Monk.
You know, one of those things, Jay Schrader throws the ball so hard and so quick that he comes up with plays like that. You know, they were talking about it, that sometimes people that should intercept it aren't used to catching his ball, and it just goes zip right through their hands like it did on Michael Downs.
Gordon Banks back deep for the Cowboys, who try to block it and missed it. No flags. Banks lets it fly into the end zone, and they'll start from the 20. 49-yard punt by Steve Cox. Ron Fellows was the man who came very close to blocking it. 12-11 left third quarter, and the Redskins up by 34 points. College football coming up this Thanksgiving weekend. 2:30 Eastern on Friday. Matchup between the Terrapins of Maryland and the Cavaliers of Virginia. There are 2 of the Maryland linebackers. Chuck Forsett on the right, waving, and the other is Richie Pettibone Jr. And his father, of course, is the defensive coach of the Redskins. Hallour. He has Tony Hill, and Hill shakes away from a couple of Redskin tacklers. And on Saturday, don't forget, completing this college football weekend here on CBS, Lou Holtz's Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against the USC Trojans, live at 3:30 Eastern time. Thanksgiving Day, John Madden and I will be in Detroit for the Packers and the Lions. 1st and 10, and Hallour gives to Dorsett, and Dorsett gets to about his own 47 before Curtis Jordan brings him down. A gain of 7.
You know, one of the things I'll say about both Tony Dorsett and Herschel Walker, I don't think they're 100% well. I think Tony Dorsett's knee is still bothering him. Herschel Walker has the ankle on one leg and the knee in the other one, and they just aren't full speed. They aren't full go, these 2 guys. And I don't think it's fair sometimes to look and say these are not doing anything.
2nd down and 3. Cowboys their own 47. Renfro is in motion. Hallour takes, throws outside. Renfro lets it go, and it's finally caught by Tony Hill. Barry Wilburn back there. Renfro did a lot of dancing to get rid of that one.
Well, he had to hold the ball. You know, usually these are quick things. We see Mike Renfro come across in motion, start up, come back. Now, that can't be a forward pass. That has to be back behind the line, because you can't have 2 forward passes. So you had to hold it, look, and then finally throw it complete to Tony Hill.
1st down, Cowboys. They have the ball at the Washington 30. Hallour back to throw. He has better protection. He's got a man open. Renfro out of bounds inside the Washington 5 to about the 4. A gain of 26. Morrison on the coverage, and the Cowboys with their best offensive effort of the day.
Well, Mike Renfro really beats Tim Morrison on this play. Morrison was in a zone, though. He was bumping. Then I think he had to bump and then get back deep, or Renfro just came free from the inside. And Morrison happened to be the closest guy.
First and goal, Dallas at the 4. Newsom and Walker are the 2 runners. Cosby. And off Walker, and Walker down to about the 1.
Tell you, he is something, that Herschel Walker. Yeah, look at his eyes there. I mean, he's looking where he has to go, and he's thinking, what's going to happen? I have to get the ball, then I have to react. He does a little quick move to the right, boom, then he hits that hole up there. I tell you, he's not 100%, but he can still be a factor in close.
Second and goal from the 1, and Walker barrels into the end zone. The Cowboys are on the board. First time today, Raphael Septien will come on. Herschel Walker touchdown.
I tell you, Tom Landry, you know, is usually not very emotional, but I'll bet you in there at halftime he had a little emotion because his guys weren't playing well. I mean, you know, the Redskins were playing great football, but the Cowboys weren't tackling. They weren't doing a lot of fundamental things in the first half that really get you as a coach.
I would certainly agree with you. Raphael Septien to try the extra point with Pallur holding. I'll bet you he had a few choice words. Septien's good. And it's 34-7. Still a lot of time left in this contest. 9:53 third quarter. Pallur over on the Dallas sideline in communication with Paul Hackett. Dallas trailing 34-7. That's probably going to be a long message.
Well, I think, you know, a guy like Paul Hackett is a very positive guy. And I know he's telling them, okay, now we got something going. We got that first one. Now we just have to keep going, stay solid, you know, believe in what we're doing.
Septien's kickoff by Burden. He is hit down and knocked backwards at the 20. Whatever Coach Landry said at the halftime got his team fired up a little bit.
I'll tell you one good thing here. They really fired out. Here's Jim Cooper. Boom, he fires out. Thornton Chandler. Boom, he fires out. Cosby. Boom, he fires out. Kerr. Boom, he comes here. Newsom. Whap, he comes here. They control all this, and Walker just takes it in right there. Watch this. Watch these 3 guys on the right side when the ball's down. Boom, boom, boom. See, now that's control. Here comes the guard. Here comes Newsom. He gets that, and then Walker could walk in on that hole. But that's good fire out down there in the goal line.
Steve Hamilton is the man down for the Redskins, hurt on the kickoff return. Washington has the ball at their own 24. 9:43 left third quarter. Clint Didier, by the way, has been inside and is back out. Total yards, Washington 365 to 123. Clark has 8 receptions, 152 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tony Dorsett and Herschel Walker combined have had only 14 yards. And the Redskins lead it 34-7. That's Clint Didier, number 86, of course. He's got his left hand wrapped up in an ace bandage. And looks like sprained, broken, I don't know. We don't know. We haven't heard yet. Some of the other scores. Cincinnati beat Minnesota 5-4. Detroit 38-17 over Tampa Bay. New England beat Buffalo 22-19. Jay Schrader here has led the Redskins to a 34-7 lead over Dallas. Don Warren is in the backfield in front of Kelvin Bryant to give it to him. And Bryant is down in a hurry. Ed Jones In overtime, the Browns beat Pittsburgh 37-31 to stay in there with Cincinnati. Houston over Indianapolis 31-17. Colts still have not won. The Giants won it on a field goal by Allegre with 6 seconds remaining. 19-16. And the Bears 12-10 over Green Bay. 2nd and 9. Schroeder gives to Bryant. Don Smerrick throws him for a 1-yard loss. This is one of those things, John, that sometimes, like in a basketball game, you start to play slow down and things get away from you.
Well, you know, and then if you're the coach of the other team, and of course Tom Landry has been on that sideline so many times in so many games, you can say, look, if they can score 34 in the first half, we can score 34 in the second half, because they just proved against us that it can be done.
3rd and 10, Redskins from their own 24-yard line. Just over 8.5 minutes left to play, 3rd quarter. Slater back to throw. Has some time. Has a man. That's Ricky Sanders. He got wide open.
This is one of the guys that general manager Bobby Beathard and coach Joe Gibbs really like. Ricky Sanders, he led the USFL in pass receiving. I said he has everything you need to be an NFL pass receiver. And you say, well, why don't you play him more? Well, because we got Art Monk in there and Gary Clark. So we just have to find a way to get him in the game, that's all.
He caught 101 passes when he was playing in Houston from Jim Kelly. So you know he can get it done. Here is Kelvin Bryant behind the line of scrimmage. Hammered by Bates. A loss of 1, maybe 2. Clint Didier, just gotten word, has a broken bone in his left hand. There is the hand. There is the bandage.
Well, you see they have the fingers are taped up too, the left 2 fingers. I don't know that he didn't do that though in the first half. But you know who's in there now for him is number 87, Terry Orr. And he was lined up in the, well, there he is now lined up in the backfield.
In the backfield, in front of Bryant. Cowboys showing blitz. They give to Bryant. Bryant almost tripped up, gets to the outside, and is chased and knocked out of bounds by Vince Albritton. Way back in 1960, I think you've probably heard Irv Cross say this was the biggest halftime deficit for a Cowboy team in their first year in existence. They were down 31-0 to the Colts. Today, they broke that record, but they've come back with a touchdown. It's 34-7. 3rd and 12.
I'll tell you, Tom Landry's mad.
Yes. Wouldn't you be?
I'd be unadulterated mad.
Or motion, Schrader back to throw. Randy White. Clark can't hold on this time. Randy White almost got to Schrader before he could let it go. Everson Walls was the defender. Clark again had a step. Excuse me, John.
No, I was just saying that this guy just amazes me, that Clark, how he gets open. Randy White was there just as Schrader threw that ball. But that was a good throw. I mean, Gary Clark was open. He'd beaten the defense and just didn't hold on to the ball.
And he's disgusted.
Doesn't need any more than that picture.
Steve Cox back to punt. Banks back deep for Dallas. Coming after it again, and Cox really guns one this time, and it goes into the end zone on the fly, and he'll bring it again back to the 20. 53-yard punt by Steve Cox. We have 7 minutes, 5 seconds left to play 3rd quarter. Cowboys down to the Redskins, 34-7.
You wonder how Gary Clark gets open. It's just with quickness. Watch him here. He's going to come up here. They're really double teaming. Here's man-to-man. Here's a safety. He's watching him all the way. But he just beats him with quickness because they got him double teamed. Look, there's a man on him up there. He's playing a man-to-man tight. He just gets up beyond him. And then with quickness here, just runs right by. The safety goes the other way, and he just seems to be wide open every play.
Valor goes back to throw for the Cowboys. Screen pass set up to Dorsett. Slips by one man, slips by another. And Dorsett caught from behind by Charles Mann, whom he never saw coming.
I'll tell you, now there is something when a defensive end can start to rush the passer, as Charles Mann did there on that play. Now that's a great football play. It was a good play by Dorsett in the screen, but Mann to start on the pass rush, turn and run, and catch Tony Dorsett from behind.
Because the screen was coming to his side.
That's right.
And he recovered. Tony Hill wide to the left. Here's Palour to Dorsett. Dorsett ducks under a couple. It's out to about the 38, a gain of 2. Rich Malott stopped him. That WD-40 Dallas offense, as recommended by their most capable PR director, Doug Todd. We got to get it to Walker and Dorsett 40 times at least. Today they've had 3 times to Walker, and that's just not enough. 2nd and 7. Valor in the pocket and down by Manley. A loss of 5.
Hey, when you have Manley coming from that backside, like he's going to come from the right of your screen, you can't look right and hold the ball. So you get back, you have to get rid of it now. If you hold it that long and pump it and bring it back down, probably to avoid the interception, he is going to jump on your back.
So quick.
Well, he has that combination of quick and strong.
That's a pretty authentic combination. Walker now in the backfield. And Palour shouting the signals from the spread, and here comes everybody.
Those flags, there were 4 flags thrown on that play.
False start, number 71, offense.
That's what Manley does to you.
I'll bet you that Manley causes more penalties. I think if they had a stat for that, the guys that cause more penalties, I bet it would be guys like Dexter Manley. Watch him out here. The tackle, Tuane, is so anxious to block him that he gets started early. But I bet you that a guy like Manley and a guy like Howie Long of the Raiders when he's healthy, I bet you those guys lead the league in causing the guy who's blocking him penalties.
That's a statistic they don't keep records of, but I know you're right.
I will make up one. That's the 29th time that happened to Manley this year.
3rd and 22. Palour. Picked off by Darrell Green. Wasn't supposed to play much, except in the nickel passing situation, and he comes up with the interception. Redskins take over with 4:52 left to play in the 3rd quarter, and they lead 34-7. Today, it's the Redskins 34-7 over Dallas, and again, John will be in the Silverdome, the home of the Lions, with a match between the Packers and Detroit. First down, Redskins after the interception by Darrell Green, at which we'll take another look in a minute. Here at the Dallas 47. Schrader going to work. Going deep. And batted away by Bates. Intended for Terry Orr and Art Monk.
You know, watch this. Darrell Green is the deep guy here. I think he got away with one on this, Pat, because he comes in here and the ball hit the ground before Darrell Green got it.
There's the last play, the play that was just run. Schrader went deep again, as he loves to do. Knocked down by Pates, intended for Monk. Keith Griffin now is the lone setback behind Schrader. as Bryant gets a rest. Rogers is out with a bruised shoulder. Here's Schrader back to throw again. Has time and goes deep again. And Terry Orr. He will take some shots, won't he?
I'll tell you, and I bet you Joe Gibbs is going crazy right now. I mean, that's one of the things that he says, you know, I can't get this guy to ever look. He said there'll be a guy's, but he's always going to look deep and just throw it deep. Although, as I said earlier, I think that's the way to do it, because I'll guarantee you he's loosening up this defense.
Doing a lot of running. Look at St. Louis over Kansas City. The Rams comfortably over New Orleans, 23-6. Third down and 10. The Redskins, the ball at the Dallas 47. Washington leading 34-7. Schrader again. Under pressure. Going for Clark. Intercepted by Downs. And the Cowboys will take over at their own 20.
I'll tell you, when Jay Schrader gets something on his mind, he's going to do it. That time, Clark didn't run a hook and go. He just ran straight down the field. And they had him double team, Ron Fellows, and then Michael Downs came over for the interception.
Those are the three teams in the Eastern Division remaining games for those who have a legitimate shot at the playoffs. Cowboys play Seattle at home Thanksgiving Day, then the Rams, Eagles, and the Bears. And you saw the Giants and the Redskins. None of them have a vacation. Newsom is the move man. Handoff is to Dorsett. Ball is on the ground. Dallas got it back. Timmy Newsom, I think, made the recovery. Clock running, 4:15 left, third quarter. And the Redskins leading 34-7. Howard Richards down and injured for Dallas. He's had a lot of problems in that area.
Well, you know, I think that was the thing we were talking about Dexter Manley, how he draws penalties. He also draws substitutions. Mark Tuinei was the starting left tackle. Now he was having trouble, so they put Howard Richards in to block Manley. You say he's really doing a pretty good job. And see what happened right on the back. The pile got him right behind the leg. Whew. I'll tell you, that's a tough way to get it. I mean, you're doing your job. You don't see it coming. And you feel it when it's too late. You can't do anything about it.
In the meantime, as we get down to 4 games remaining, really, for all the teams, some still playing as we are here, the AFC playoff picture, the Jets at 10-1. They play Miami tomorrow night. Cincinnati 8-4. Cleveland 8-4. Tied for the lead in the Central. And Denver, after losing to the Giants today, 9-3. But don't forget about New England. Don't forget about the Raiders or Kansas City, although Kansas City losing today.
You know, it's amazing that Jet team, with all those injuries, they just keep winning. I think when they were healthy, they're probably the best team in the AFC.
Richards up and moving around now. The NFC playoff picture. The division leaders, the Giants, who won today at 10-2. Washington 9-2. The Bears 10-2. They won today 12-10. Rams still playing, but ahead of New Orleans. And then there are Dallas, San Francisco, New Orleans, and Minnesota, all vying for a wild card, an outside chance maybe at a championship. Pallur to Thornton Chandler, and Chandler fumble after he's hit. Ball comes out. The Redskins have it. And Chandler gets up limping after a gain of 14, but lost the football.
Well, the guy that did that was their rookie starting strong safety, now Alvin Walton. I'll tell you, he made a nice hit. I mean, he hit that thing square and popped that ball right out of there. Tom Landry's saying, what in the heck do we have to do?
He had his first down, lowered his shoulder to try to pick up some more, but came up without the ball.
I'll tell you, watch Walton come in there right now. You see, his head didn't hit the ball. His hip did. I mean, he went down, and he tackled Chandler low, and then the back came up and knocked it out. Watch him here. The initial hit doesn't hit the ball. Now watch what does hit the ball right there, and it pops out.
3:48 left to play, third quarter. Redskins have the ball at the Dallas 37, 1st and 10. And
fumble is correct. Washington's ball. First down.
They reviewed it with the instant replay officials, and it was a fumble.
I don't know what they had to review, although that's good. That's good for their record, because when you really get a good one like that, and then you review it, and you say we reviewed it and it was good, then that ups the record. So they're having a good day today.
Keith Griffin is the deep back. That's Monk in motion. The handoff Griffin. Trying to get to the outside, and he is hit and knocked out of bounds. Everson Walls. Rod Fellows. Lockhart.
Although they did miss Darrell Green's interception that he short hopped.
Eagles coming back a bit against Philadelphia, and St. Louis beating Kansas City 23-0. Who knows what happens and why?
Well, I think from now on, from this point of the season on, I think you really get down to contenders. And I think the rest of the stuff just kind of filters towards the bottom.
Second down and 11 from the 38. That's Monk again moving. Schrader back to throw. Gets it outside of Monk. And he gets away from Wall. Monk down inside the 15 and out of bounds at that point by Lockhart.
I guarantee you on the Redskins sideline, they told Jay Schrader, okay, you aired it out 3 times the last series, we got nothing. Now let's just go to the short guy. Don't even look. You got Gary Clark deep left. Don't even look over there. Just watch the short guy. Hit Monk in the short one. Let him catch that ball. Let him make a move. Let him run with it. Let him get you a first down.
And he got his first down at the Dallas 14. Redskins leading 34-7. Hand off to Griffin. Griffin to about the 11. Stopped by Downs. Gain of 2. Clock running most importantly for the Redskins with 2:39 left to play in the third quarter. Dick Nolan, Ernie Staudter.
Well, I know they're mad too, and I'll tell you what they're mad about. I don't know that I've seen the Cowboys miss as many tackles as they've missed today.
Howard Richards, by the way, injured in the last offensive series, has a hyperextended right knee. Problem he has had before. Second down and 7 from the 11. Schrader gives again to Griffin. He gets down to about the 7. Jeff Rohr knocks him out of bounds after a pickup of 3.
You know, a guy that's done a heck of a job all day is a left tackle here, Joe Jacoby. Watch him right here. He's on Jeffcoat. Now, Jeffcoat's outside, so he got to get here, get square, take him back so that the ball can get outside there. Now, that's a tough block, but watch him. See how he moved quick? Boom, he got there. Now he gets him going back. Now, that is control. That's the way you block an offensive, that's the way an offensive tackle blocks.
That's the way it's designed.
Yeah.
Kelvin Bryant is back now on third down. Ball's at the 7. They need 3. Schrader back to throw. Does throw. Bryant just short of the goal line pylon. Manny Hendricks finally gets him down. It'll be at about the 1/2-yard line.
So they have 2 wide receivers outside. Then the third guy in is Kelvin Bryant. He runs the out, and they can't get there to him before he catches the ball. That's the old triple formation or trips or overload to one side. 3 receivers.
Just inside the 1. And it's first and goal. The Redskins trying to go further ahead. They lead 34-7. Bryant is the deep back. Or is the movement.
this guy here, the blocker. Now watch this block here on the end man. Takes him here, knocks him right back so that Bryant can get it in. But watch the lead block on Michael Downs right there. He puts him right on his back, and then Bryant takes it in. That's what Joe Gibbs says. You know, when I can put Donnie Warren in there, it was normally a tight end, that's like having a 250-pound fullback.
Michael Downs will attest to that.
Michael Downs will say, I remember in the old days when they used to have running backs in the backfield.
It's a book I haven't seen. You could sell those in Washington, I know. Schrader with hold. It's in Deos to kick. Redskins move ahead 41-7. Devastating block. Watch it again.
Watch the block. Watch the left side of this line fire down. Come out there. Boom. There's a block there. That's all you need to get it in the end zone. McKenzie's still going it on there.
Elvin Bryant knows where he's hit.
Yep, shaking his head. Yep, I got it. That's
I'm in the end zone.
Looks around. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's okay. It's a touchdown.
A lot of hail to the Redskins today. 41-7, they lead Dallas.
Yeah, there were people that came to this game early and didn't know the words to the song. And after all these scores, everyone knows the word. Everyone in the whole joint knows the words now.
Don't forget to be with us on Thanksgiving Day, before or after or during the Thanksgiving meal. It starts at 12 Eastern Time, the Packers against the Detroit Lions. Used to be every year. That was the matchup starting back in 1951. Billy Sims and Ray Nitschke, who've been through a few of those, will be in the studio.
I'd watch out for Ray Nitschke. He's still looking for a hit.
Steve Cox. Kickoff sails deep into the end zone, handled by Levette. And they'll bring it out to the 20. A minute 48 left in the third quarter. It's the Redskins 41, the Cowboys 7.
That's what the offensive line gets to go. Every time you get a short yardage and you block it, then you go over there and get one of those, the jumbo. So you go there. Look, the guy's so proud. He finally realized he's on television. Look, he's telling them all now. But linemen, only big linemen get to eat the jumbo pretzels.
Fuller for Tony Hill. Caught. And boy, is he hit out of bounds, knocked out of bounds. Not out of bounds by Curtis Jordan. The catch was good, and Tony Hill took a shot in the back.
Yeah, that's a guy that's been all over the place today. Is number 22, Curtis Jordan. Now, he's been playing for 10 years. I've always said he really doesn't have the speed to play. But the guy just reads and gets jumps and can hit, and he's a tough guy. And he's been all over the place
sure
today for that Redskin defense.
And Tony Hill taking that hit in the back is a tough guy.
Jordan looks more like a country and western singer than a football player.
Fuller has the ball slip out of his hand or something. Doug Cosby was the intended target. 49ers shutting out Atlanta. And the Rams 26-6 over New Orleans.
Well, the Rams have a gun in their arsenal now. You know, John Robinson said last week, he said before we got Jim Everett, he said we were like in a rowboat going across this water, just rowing away, and someone brought us an outboard motor. That's Everett.
Fuller is 11 out of 22 for 163 yards, no touchdowns, one interception. Herschel Walker is behind him now. Second down, 10. He gets it outside to Walker, who is herded out of bounds by Neil Olkowitz. And now they say the pass was incomplete.
I think think it was academic anyway because it was right at the line of scrimmage. But who would think that Neil Okowitz could cover Herschel Walker?
Cowboys now have Phil Pozderac playing right offensive tackle. And Mark Tuine at left offensive tackle. Crawford Kerr is still the right guard. Now what's happening?
Players reviewing the play.
I think they're looking at that last one that was academic anyway.
Dick Jorgensen, the referee.
Here's what they're looking at. Neil Okowitz was right there when Herschel Walker caught the ball. The ball dropped out. It wasn't there, but you see it was right at where the line of scrimmage was anyway. That's Jack Reeder. He's making a decision.
Official, the ruling is incomplete.
It's the same thing, complete or incomplete. The ball's the same place.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 10 situation. Dallas at their own 40-yard line with 1:31 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Washington leading 41-7. Pullo out of the spread. Here come the Redskins on a blitz. Pullo is out of the pocket. And Pullo is down and out of bounds and chased by Rich Millot. And nobody picked him up.
I tell you, Millot had to run a long way. They don't get him. He's here. Now he's going to come in here, and that puts Pullo out here, and he just keeps chasing him all the way to the sideline out there. But no one blocks him as he comes in, and that's what flushes him out. See, here comes Rich Millot right up there, unblocked. Pullo sees it, says, I better get out of here. Millot says, I'm going to go with you. Doink.
And Manley in close pursuit also. Ken Jenkins back deep. Mike Saxon's punt off the side of his foot. Jenkins will handle at the Redskin 19. A lot of thunder going on down there. Jeff Rohr was the first man down. 41-yard punt. One of the Cowboy players slow in getting up is Baldinger. Washington 41, Dallas 7. 1:11 left to play 3rd quarter. Today, injuries. Howard Richards out with a hyperextended knee. Bowles with a hip pointer. Those are all Redskins. Didier with a broken hand. Russ Grimm with a strained neck. Hamilton a knee. Rogers a shoulder bruise. It's been a tough day. Keith Griffin is the running back. They give on the counter tray to Griffin, and there's nothing there for him. Vince Albritton up to make the stop. He lost 2. Less than a minute left, 3rd quarter. Redskins now just taking their time. There's Clint Didier, broken bone in his left hand. Clock running now, less than 40 in the 3rd quarter. It is 2nd and 12. Schrader again to Griffin. Griffin up outside the 30. Randy White will be on the bottom of the pile after he got 3.
You know, a guy that's doing a pretty good job is Raleigh McKenzie. He's the guy that's blocking Randy White in there, and when Russ Grimm went out, he had to come in and do the job, and I think that he's done a good job of both run blocking and pass protecting. Raleigh McKenzie has a twin brother, Reggie McKenzie, that plays for the Raiders.
Redskins sellout crowd really appreciating what's going on today. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. With the score, the Redskins 41, Dallas 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. The wave circulating RFK Stadium. Tribute to the Redskins who lead Dallas 41-7, 3rd and 8. Washington at their own 33. Schrader backs the throw. Chased by Jeffcoat. Fires a bullet. Clark, the intended receiver, covered by Everson Walls, and the Redskins will have to punt. You know, Schrader, 41 points, the most ever scored by the Redskins against the Cowboys. Schrader is the fastest quarterback in the NFL and one of the biggest.
Yeah, and then when you take that, I mean, you take that biggest and then fastest, and then you add one more thing. He also has one of the strongest arms, and he's a young guy. I mean, he's going to be here with this team for a long time.
Steve Cox back to punt. And he ever hit this one. Banks is cut down by Clarence Burden, who is only 5'6" and weighs less than 160 pounds. Cox got off a 54-yard punt, and Burden is down there in a hurry.
But he's one of the fastest guys in the team. You know, Joe Gibbs said he was so small, he said, we never even thought of him on special teams. And he came up and says, I want to play special teams. He said, I'll cover kicks, I'll cover punts, I'll cover kickoffs. They can't block me.
He said all the defensive backs in training camp hated him.
Well, because he first came to the team and all he did was talk, and he had an injury. He never practiced.
Then they found out they couldn't cover him.
And then instead of just being a loudmouth, he was a nice guy who talked a lot.
And who could play. That helped. Herschel Walker for a couple. For another NFL update, let's go back to Brent Musburger in New York. It's a bunch. 41-7. And Dexter Manley trying to get this crowd fired up. They're already fired up enough.
Someone's going to have the job of calming him down when it's over.
Third down, that's Walker moving. Valor has his pass complete to Mike Sherrard, right side. A gain of 10. That'll be enough, I believe, for a first down.
It's interesting that before the game, Joe Gibbs worried about two things. One, the intensity. Can we have that same intensity, that same emotion? Well, he sure got that. And he said we have to be able to run for 125 yards. He got that. Of course, he usually gets what he wants, and that's why he has that.
Well, just think ahead a little bit. Of course, we'll be in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, and then first down Dallas. Then we'll be back here for the match between the Giants and the Redskins, and that ought to be something.
I'll tell you, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know, when the top guys play the top guys in meaningful games, that's the best of the NFL.
That's when our broadcasting is not a job anymore. Here's Valor going deep. Almost picked off by Alvin Walton. He was going for Sherrard. You know, Valor didn't throw but one day this week, nor did Schrader. They were both somewhat questionable coming into this game, but they both have survived, and both, although Valor's been chased all day.
Well, Valor said his hip was really something. He injured his hip against San Diego. They took him in and gave him a shot that deadened it. And he said when that wore off, he said he could hardly move for a few days. But he's taking a little beating here today, too.
Second down. Valor back to throw. High over the head of Doug Cosby, who hasn't caught a ball today. Valor down again. Now Manley is into a fracas. And now the flag goes down.
I think this is one thing the officials really have to take over this game now, because between now and the end of the game, I think if they let it go, there's going to be a lot of this. But there's how it starts. Kerr gives him a left and holds his face mask. And he's pulled off by Tuane. Be interesting to see who they called the penalty on. They never. I think they have to see the guy who started it. The guy that grabbed his face mask should be penalized.
Dexter says it's not against me, it's against them.
Personal foul, grab and pull of the face mask after the play was over. Number 68, offense, third down.
Tell you, Okowitz just gave free up there, put Pelor on his back. Whew. And they start that celebration. You know, that could just be a little frustration of the offensive line because they've really been taking a lot of heat. I mean, last week 11 sacks, and you know, in the week before that they had the interceptions, and they've really been on this offense, and specifically this offensive line.
3rd and 17. Trying to run a screen pass, and all they can do is throw it away. And Manley was again putting the heat on along with Darrell Grant.
Manley just ran right by Tuanay on this one. See, he can line up wide because they put the linebacker inside. He gets his left arm up underneath Tuanay's arm. So that takes his power away, and then he goes right by him and finds the quarterback.
And down goes Pelor. And in comes Saxon to punt. Ken Jenkins back deep for the Redskins. Still 13:22 left to play. Cowboys down, led by Lockhart. Then Diassi, 46-yard punt, 4-yard return, and this guy is excited about playing. Laverne Torgerson talking with him, saying, hey, calm down a little bit. We begin a Thanksgiving weekend of college football, starting at 2:30 Eastern Time, the matchup between Maryland and Virginia. And then after that, Notre Dame against USC. Holiday weekend of college football here on CBS.
Yeah, we saw in that first game, that Maryland game, the two Maryland linebackers, one of them being Richie Pettibone Jr. Richie, of course, is the assistant head coach of this Redskin team, but also the quarterback on that team is Dan Henning's son, the Atlanta Falcon.
Comes up Friday. Here's Griffin to the outside, chased by Albritton, down, but a Redskin first down. Heath Griffin, of course, Archie Griffin's brother, in a gain of 12.
Remember last year he had a couple of big running games, and how would you like to have to defend this team? They start off George Rogers, they run him at you, one of the all-time great runners. And then he goes down. Then they bring in Kelvin Bryant, and they run him at you. And then they bring in Keith Griffin. When you get tired and no one can catch him.
There is Reggie Collier warming up for the Cowboys. Griffin hit by Bates, knocked down after a gain of 3 with two tall Jones around his ankles. Dave Butts.
Yeah, we were talking about those running backs. Look, of the all-time rushers, we have 3 of them in this game. Tony Dorsett is the all-time rusher. Herschel Walker is 3rd. George Rogers is 5th. And that 4th guy there, his brother's here. So we have either 3 out of 4, or when you count relatives, 4 out of 4.
Second down and 7. Griffin again. Side down to about the Dallas 40, a gain of 4. It's Michael Downs who was limping around over on the sideline. Left ankle, it would appear, obviously.
I tell you, it's tough out there.
Back under the goalpost at the far end of the field, headed for the Cowboy locker room. Albritton, Bates, Fellows in the secondary now. Ball with Everson Everson Wall. Here's Schrader. Chase throws to Monk. Enough for a Redskin first down, a gain of 4. Lockhart made the stop. Downs down into the tunnel.
You know, one thing about Schrader is that he's also strong. I mean, he's a guy who's 6'4", but one of the reasons he doesn't have a lot of sacks against him is because he's hard to tackle. Guys will just bounce off, slide down him. You know, I mean, to get him, you really have to bring everything you got and get there and tackle him and take him down. But you don't just, boom, knock him down like a cream puff or something.
First down, Redskins. Dallas 37. Again, it's Griffin. Over the left side, stopped by Ed Jones after a gain of 3 for an NFL update again. Let's go to Brent Musburger in at RFK Stadium. It's 41-7. Big, broad back of Dave Butts. That'll block out some light.
He doesn't even fit in the set.
Second down. Give this to Griffin. Nothing there. Ben Spalbritton and Bates bring him down. He lost 4. Nine minutes, 40 seconds. Those of you expecting 60 minutes, it'll come up right after football, except on the West Coast, where you'll see it at its regular time. 9:25 left to play, and it's the Redskins 41, the Cowboys 7. 4 on the move. Schrader back to throw. A lot of time. Cy Warren knocked out of bounds. Jesse Penn. Flag is down.
Yeah, it's holding against the Redskins. You know, one thing is the officials, I think, have done a pretty good job of keeping control of this game and staying out of it. I mean, they really haven't been aware. I mean, they've kind of let the guys play for the most part.
Holding, number 69, offense, still third down.
Cowboys accept the penalty. We're at RFK Stadium in Washington. The Redskins leading Dallas 41-7, 9:15 left in the fourth quarter. It all started off bad for Dallas when they fumbled the opening kickoff and the Redskins scored right away. Total yards, you see, 450 to 177. Gary Clark has 8 receptions and a touchdown today, and Tom Landry has experienced one of his longer days. Third down and 22. Schrader gives to Bryant on the drop play. He gets inside the Cowboy 40 to about the 38. A gain of 10 before Everson Walls brings him down. You'll be pretty happy about Schrader's Raiders today, don't you?
I think so, and Jay Schrader was thinking, hey, we had 3rd and long. Let me throw one more deep one, Coach. My arm feels good. I'm warmed up now. And he was a guy, remember, that left college and went and played professional baseball and found out that, you know, maybe throwing a deep pass is easier than hitting a curveball.
A lot of people find that out.
Well, and he came and proved it.
Redskins let the 30-second clock run out, and they back up Steve Cox, who's averaged over 50 yards a kick today.
Yeah, I wonder if you could test that. I mean, I wonder, you know, Nervy, just standing up there and a guy throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball at you,
Yeah.
or standing back there in the pocket and 290-pound guys coming 4-5 at you. Which is more dangerous?
I think it depends on what you believe.
Probably all in the eyes of the beholder, right? And the guy that's standing there.
Cox. Pops it deep and out of the end zone.
Some guy caught it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good catch. The guy looked it right into his hands. There's a penalty flag on the play. Just what we're saying, but one of those ushers or something caught that ball on a fly.
Didn't signal for a fair catch either.
That guy right there.
Personal foul, number 40 on the kicking team after the ball went out of the end zone. 15 yards, first down.
Alvin Walton is number 40. And we have just over 8 minutes left to play with Redskins in command. 8:06 left to play. Washington 41, Dallas 7. Tonight on CBS starts with 60 minutes. If your car suddenly goes out of control, chances are there's something wrong with it. Not so, says one car manufacturer. It's not the car, it's you. Then it's murder, she wrote. All tonight on CBS coming up. Reggie Collier, quarterback for Dallas. Robert Levette was the receiver. Neil Olkowitz was the tackler. Collier 6'3", 207, and he is an excellent athlete.
One thing about Reggie Collier, with him being in there, that'll slow down the pass rush. One, because they have to be a little tired by now. You see all that heavy breathing and sweat and stuff. The other reason is Collier will run on you.
They have used him in some situations as a wide receiver. He is back to throw. Batted down by Dave Butts. Giants won today. Beat Denver. For an update on that, let's go to Brent Musburger. Giants will be here at RFK the first weekend of December. Third down and short. Just the yard. Todd Fowler was the ball carrier. I don't think he got enough for the first down. Clock still running now with 7 minutes, 10 seconds left to play, and the Redskins again leading 41-7. Doug Williams loosening up over on the sideline. Ex-Tampa Bay starter, great arm, went to the USFL, now the backup for the Redskins. Cowboys going on 4th and short. Herschel Walker is back there with Fowler. Fowler with a second effort might have gotten it. It's going to be close. Yes, he did.
Hey, here I think the Cowboys just want to work on their offense, get a little more time to polish that thing. Going for it on 4th down. Now they can keep the ball for a few more downs.
Walker was the lead blocker.
Tom Landry's still calling plays. You know, that's what people say when you talk about staying with it, never giving up, whatever. Tom Landry is the guy who's going to coach until the gun goes off.
They come after Collier. He shows you some of that mobility and that running ability that John talked about. Collier's out of bounds down at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, I don't think it would be bad for the Cowboy offense to incorporate this guy a little more in their plan. I mean, in their plan, not in the plan when it's 41-7, but in their regular plan, because you just see what it can do. I mean, they're getting big pass rush. Maybe their offensive line is having a little trouble. But this guy will slow it down. Not this guy, the other guy.
Collier has got some great speed and gliding moves. He looks like Randall Cunningham a little bit in Philadelphia. Maybe a little quicker. In the middle of Renfro, Collier. Rich Millot on the stop. Everett playing quarterback for the Rams. Let's check with Brent Musburger again. Here come the Redskins after Collier. Pass is incomplete, intended for Todd Fowler, and penalty markers are down.
I think they're going to say that the Redskin defense was offsides, although they're saying that the Cowboy offensive line drew them offside.
And what they said was correct.
Well, the first movement that I saw was Dexter Manley and Darrell Grant.
Maybe one of the offensive guards moved. It might have been the kitchen. Injured quarterbacks this season. Total 21. Starts miss 62. That's how many. Second and 12, and Nate Newton is in at left guard. Collier, incomplete. Intended for Mike Sherrard.
You know, last night when we were talking to Paul Hackett about Reggie Collier, he said Collier can do some things that Pulor can't do. And Pulor, of course, can do some things that Collier can't do. But I don't think that'd be a bad idea. I mean, if that's true, to use Collier in the game, in a meaningful game, doing some things that he can do, Pulor can't, and then using Pulor, kind of use that combination. Now, it'll probably stir up something. I don't mean to do that. It's just a thought, that's all.
Third down conversions today. The Cowboys are 0 for 11. 4:15 left to play. Redskins up 41-7. Here's Collier out of the spread. Up into the pocket. Sherrard. Inside the 10, knocked out of bounds at about the 8 by Calvin Daniels. It'll be first and goal. Cowboys. That was a good throw.
I'll tell you it was, because he got away from the rush, then he floated out to the left, and he just waited for things to come over, and then he floated a nice pass in there. Watch him. There's only a 3-man rush by the Cowboys. You see, they give him that hole to the left there, that lane to run in, so he floats out there to the left, looks downfield, finds Sherrard, and just loops the ball up over Calvin Daniels' head, the defender.
4:07 left to play. It's first and goal at the 8. Lovett is the running back behind Collier. Todd Fowler's in there with him. Lovett moves out to the right. Here's where a guy like this can really be dangerous. Down close to the goal line like this. Touchdown. Lovett.
Reggie Collier made it look easy, didn't he? Now, someone's going to say, why didn't they let him play the whole game? He'd do that all day. They just let Lovett. He's the second guy in. He just runs, he gets a bump. No one covers him. Looks like the Redskins were playing some type of zone down in there with no one zoning that deep part of the end zone. I'll tell you, though, Collier found him in the end zone.
Well, everybody likes to say when they win a game like this, or any game, we're number one. And today the Redskins look like number one.
But just up in New York, the Giants are saying the same thing.
Septien's extra point is good. It's 41-14. CBS stands for Can't Beat the Skins. Thank you.
About winding up with perhaps the best record in the NFC. One of those teams, a favorite to wind up in that position, the Chicago Bears, struggled to call on John Madden.
And, of course, John and I will be in Detroit for that match between the Packers and the Detroit Lions. Dallas about set to kick off. Of course, they're expecting the onside kick attempt at least. And he kicks away. Again, Jenkins retreats to about the 7 and starts to bring it out. And is hit by Steve Diassi. Redskins take over. It looks like their quarterback will be Doug Williams. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. Doug Williams is indeed the quarterback.
I think this is an opportunity. It's the first time Doug Williams has played, and I think that between now and the playoff time, I think Joe Gibbs would like to get him in a little to get him in there on the field, get a little of the rust off him.
Williams to Keith Griffin. Left side, not much. Stopped by Jeff Rohr. There was a time, John, when I think everybody around the National Football League thought that this guy had the best arm of anyone, Doug Williams.
I remember I thought that. In fact, I still think that he has one of the better arms in the NFL. And I think that one thing that he suffered from in the NFL is not having a real good team around him. Although he did lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the playoffs.
Right.
A lot of people don't remember that.
Second down here and 8. 3:11 left to play. That's Warren, the move man. Hand off again to Griffin. And again, he is wrapped up over the left side for a gain perhaps of 5-4 perhaps. Following football, again, a reminder, will be 60 minutes, except on the West Coast, where you'll see it at its regular time.
I think that's Dave Butts' son down there. He usually comes down at the end of the game, and then he'll carry his helmet off for him.
There was a time when he wasn't strong enough to carry that helmet.
Well, you know, you got to get to be 7, 8 years old before you can carry that bucket.
That bucket's been used. Smirk. Pass intended for Clarence Verdon. Don Smirk was in the face of Doug Williams. Final score, St. Louis beat Kansas City. It's a shocker, 23-14. They installed Neil Lomax back as the starting quarterback in St. Louis, and it worked. They play the Redskins next week. Lomax had 3 touchdown passes today, by the way.
Sometimes that helps a quarterback. You know, he goes and everything's bad, everything's going wrong. They sit him down a while, then bring him back, and he has a new outlook on things.
Flags go down everywhere, all over the field. Cox doesn't, for the first time today, doesn't really hit a good strong punt. If it's against Dallas, that'll be enough for a first down.
I think it is against Dallas. I think it is enough for a first down. There's referee Dick Jurgensen. He has a lot of equipment around his neck.
Yes, he does.
You notice that? They're kind of, these guys have, you know, whistles, and then that white thing. I don't know, that's some kind of mic, and then they got stuff in their hips, and, you know, they're all wired up, stuff they push.
Don't forget the whistle.
And then it doesn't work. I mean, he got all that stuff, wires, stuff coming down his neck, around the deal, on his side. Bean bags, they got all that stuff, and it doesn't work. The stuff doesn't work all the time. Yeah, I'll tell you something about this Redskin team. See, he doesn't even know his stuff doesn't work. He thinks his stuff's working. But you know, this Redskin team, they have 14 new guys on their team this year. I mean, they are bringing in guys, new players, different guys, and still being a top team, staying a top team.
That's a real tribute to Bobby Beathard, your buddy, and Joe Gibbs, and to the whole organization. Keith Griffin again. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Jesse Penn made the stop. But you're right, you know, all of those people you talked about are not rookies, but they're new to the Redskins system.
Right, and some of them, you know, you talk about Bobby Beathard. Bobby Beathard likes young players. He likes the fast players. You know, we talked about Clarence Verdon today, number 89. He just saw him one time and said in the USFL, he saw him return a touchdown 100 yards. He said, that guy may play. So he picks him up.
41-14, Washington. John Madden, 2 minutes to play. The Redskins have been in control from the outset. They recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff, and George Rogers scored a touchdown, and that sort of set the stage. There's Dave Butts' helmet. Second down, and Doug Williams gives to Griffin. Griffin trying to get to the outside and does. See the guy, number 74, the right tackle.
That's ugly, man.
That's John Madden, and that's Bobby Beathard on the same team.
He looks like a 12-year-old Boy Scout, Bobby Beathard. That's ugly. They don't even talk about offensive linemen.
You haven't changed a bit.
I've changed a lot. How about this guy, though? He's down there in the sideline. Look, he's still laughing.
He has reason to be laughing.
Well, I'll tell you, he really has done an outstanding job. I mean, he's the general manager of this team. He's the guy that goes out and gets these players. Joe Gibbs does a great job of coaching, but Bobby's brought in, these young players, these new players, keeps looking for players that can better that team.
And he's done a good job, as you say, of that. Ed Jones was the Cowboy player that was shaken up a bit, and he's back in the lineup. Now he goes out. Ed's had a great couple of weeks. Today, nothing was great.
Well, as you said, they started out, the Redskins started out with that, recovering that fumble on the opening kickoff, and everything was uphill for them the rest of the day, and everything was downhill for the Cowboys the rest of the day.
A minute 54 left to play. Redskins have the ball and lead 41-14. Griffin from Williams. Diassi on the stop. A gain of 3. It's going to be interesting. It looks like the match that we have in 2 weeks, the Giants-Redskins, might decide who wins the NFC East, and the rest of the battle is going to be, it would appear, for the wild card spot.
And those guys there are thinking, do we even have a shot anymore at that wild card spot? But I remember a month ago, Bill Parcells said, I think it's going to come down to that game. When we go down and play the Redskins at RFK, I think that'll decide the championship.
2nd and 7 it was. Vince Albritton stopped Griffin. Art Monk had a good day. Clint Didier, a 71-yard touchdown catch, but wound up with a broken bone in his left hand. Dexter Manley, who came out leading cheers and maintained all that enthusiasm that Joe Gibbs was worried about. Gary Clark had a great big day. Touchdown pass, caught 8, and was open all day long.
Looks like a warrior, doesn't he? And that guy made it all possible. He was the guy that got the ball to all those other guys.
Rather stern look from Coach Landry. And that should just about take care of things at RFK Stadium. The Redskins defeat the Cowboys 41-14. Dave Butts' son carrying that big helmet off. We'll be back with more here from RFK.